fun to do bad things, to drive into a car.
She still starts. All right, don't hate me. What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk about my IS300. Here's a quick walk around of it. This is my IS300 that I've been building for a while, and I've gone through many different phases in my life. And don't hate me, I just went through a drive-through car wash, and I've never done that before. I wanted to see if this car will survive going through a car wash, just because everything has been like not securely held on. As you can see, zip tie's holding it right here, so floppy. But it is a drift car, right? And the whole purpose of this is to just drift. And so you want to get your first IS300, you want to get into drifting. Say you get a good deal on a manual IS300, you got $1,500 to spend to get ready to drift. And these are the first 5 things that I wish I did, that I started drifting with. I went on a random splurge of throwing random things to figure out what was best for the car. And these are the first 5 things I wish I did to the car. And it's under 1.5K. So kind of affordable. Cars are expensive right now, but if you're looking to get into drifting, these are the first 5 mods that I would do to get into drifting, and will last you a good while until you start leveling up your skills. So what I found to be the best for me when I got into drifting is to have the most direct feeling from steering wheel to seat to foot to hands, direct feeling to the car and to the car to the ground. And first things first, these cars are old. They're made from 1997 if you're getting Japanese ones, all the way to 2005. Yes, 2005. And so these suspensions are a little over 20 years old, depending on what year you get, and 99.8% of the times it probably is blown. And so first things first, I would get is some coilovers. I would go on the internet, search up CX Racing coilovers, because for me, I found that to be the best cheap coilover. If you're gonna go a cheap route on coilovers, I would go the CX Racing route. I got the 14 and 10K springs variations. Got it for around $700. Put the price up here. And so $700, you get some good solid coilovers. I actually kind of loved the way it felt when it swayed a little bit. It helped me in my transitions. It felt solid. And that's how I learned how to drift with. And I really suggest that as your first mod. I didn't do that as my first mod, and I just drifted as a stock car, and it just swayed so much. These cars are heavy little boats with slow stock engines. All right, so next I would get is a full bucket seat. This is gonna be kind of controversial, all right? If you are street driving a car, I probably would recommend getting something a little more expensive, like a Race Quip or a Sparco. But if you're just drifting this car, you're looking to get into drifting for an affordable price, and I really did enjoy how this seat felt, I would get an NRG bucket seat. The FRPs, they do make an FIA approved one if you're on a budget and you want an FIA one, but I would just get a regular FRP NRG bucket seats. If you drift a stock seat, you're thrown around like this. Just getting thrown around. You can't control what you're doing with your foot, your hand, your steering wheel, because you're just being thrown around side to side. Especially when you start going faster and you're going into bigger entry, you're gonna want to downshift from third to second. And if you're moving side to side and your legs are moving side to side, you're gonna miss your clutch, you're gonna miss the brakes, you're not gonna be consistent with the gas pedal. So you can get an FRP bucket seat from NRG, costs about $270, and it's perfect enough. I drifted on it for about a year, felt good, felt solid. And on top of that, you're gonna need some brackets. I recommend getting excessive manufacturing brackets just because they're affordable. There are about 110 or 120, 130 price right here. Got a seat that works, that's solid, it's planted. You're in a good sitting position. You're sitting low because excessive bracket does mount the lowest, and you're not going to be thrown around side to side while you're drifting. You're going to feel secure. Every movement that's happening to the car is going to happen to your body. Third thing is get your diff welded. If your car has LSD, great, it's a good thing to start with, but I think if you're learning to drift, I do recommend getting a welded diff, as it's a little more predictable. On transitions, if you let off throttle, you won't open up your diff. Normally you won't open up your diff. And you know, you can buy a cheap open diff. It's way cheaper than buying an LSD, and most IS300s will come with the open diff. So if you do have the option, go get it welded. I've seen the prices vary from $100 to $250 depending on where you live, location, if you got homies that weld. I took it to a shop one time, they charged me $250. I took it to a homie one time and they charged me $100. Search up your local automotive shop. If you're in the Bay Area, I went to Dynamic Auto Works and they did a good job of welding my diff. So search them up. Just search up performance auto shops, fabrications, whatever. Scroll down, find a shop that you can trust and weld your diff. I prefer you take it out, give it to them, have them weld it, have them seal it. That way you can just throw it in, fill it up, and you're good to go. So third thing, I don't know why people don't do this. You'd think it would be a little more common to start out with some decently grippy tires in the front. You don't need the grippiest tires. There has been videos and myths about having the grippiest tires in the front, which is not really good for drifting. You want the front tires to scrub a little bit. You don't want it to just grip up, otherwise you'll just oversteer all the time. Chelsea DeNova did a video on why you don't need the grippiest tires. But these are some tires that I recommend for the front that are relatively cheap and affordable. You can start out with Federal RSRRs. For a set, they're around under $300, about $270. Really cheap tires, $215, 45/17 is a stock tire size for the IS300, and they will last you a season, 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons. I had Federals for a 1.5 years and I had Kendas for a 1.5 years. Now I'm back on Federals. And they both work great. They're not too grippy. They're not that expensive, but they are loud on the street. But they work great as drift tires. And if you're even on a budget, I do like Kendas. I kind of prefer Kendas, but they were sold out during the time that I was looking for them. Kendas are a lot cheaper. You can get on eBay, $215, 45/17 for about $200. I think it's about $210, $220. You can get them for this price. Just make sure you get consistent, same tires, good tires. You don't want shitty tires. You want your front tires to last you a season, maybe 2 seasons, maybe last you a year, because good tires will help you stay consistent on your steering wheel feel. Every time you go out, your steering wheel will feel responsive. You know exactly what to expect. You won't be trying to figure out new tire setup every year. So stay on one tire, good cheap tires. Those are 2 I recommend on a budget. Federal RSRRs or Kenda KR20s. Last thing you want to do is to get a good drift button. A drift button is going to be helpful when you're driving on the track, because there are going to be times when you spin out and you're getting too close to someone and you need to yank it, or you're getting a little bit better and you're starting to drive at people and you want to start tandeming. You're going to want to need a handbrake, because if you're pulling up and you're getting too close, you need a handbrake so you can check on them and not hit them. Or if you're driving and you're really bad at driving for some reason, you can use a handbrake to adjust your line, change your lines, extend your lines. A whole bunch of things you can do with the handbrake, and it's super helpful if you have one. Just to learn how to drive, you shouldn't use it all the time. It should be to you to correct some of your mistakes you've done. But when you're learning, you should learn how to clutch kick. But you should have this, because in an emergency, it will definitely be helpful. I do recommend the Toge factory one. You can see right here, we have the Toge factory one. I like it because it's not just a flat piece of button. It doesn't go all the way in, so I can still push it out. If I'm trying to lock it, locks. Press the button and it pulls. Super helpful when you're drifting. Really recommend it. And yeah, it's only 18 bucks. You can't go wrong. It's really helpful, and for the price, it's gonna make you a better driver. It's gonna take you to better places where you're driving just having this with you. All right, so those are the 5 things that are gonna make your drift car a lot comfortable. It's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel right. You're gonna feel connected to the car and to the ground. It's gonna be responsive. It's gonna get you pretty far along your drifting career if you're trying to improve in your driving. If you're getting started, it can take you to pretty far places. I can start with that and pretty much get to where I am now with my drifting. I'm not the best. I'm not the greatest. I'm a decent driver that has tandem with a bunch of people. And with that setup, it'll take you there just fine. And if you're just worrying about performance, these are the 5 things that will get you ready to drive and feeling the most confident in your car. 1, the coilovers. You're gonna feel the ground. You're gonna be connected to the road a lot better. It's gonna feel stiffer, planted at every turn, every transition. It's gonna feel a lot more stable and just a little stiffer on the corners when you drive. It's gonna feel stable and predictable. Second is a bucket seat. You're going to stay planted in your car, because if your car is moving and you're not planted, you're gonna struggle getting into gear. You're gonna struggle pressing the clutch. You're gonna struggle pressing the gas. You're gonna struggle in the car. Your knees are gonna get bruised up. It's gonna hurt. It's not gonna be fun. So having a bucket seat to connect you to the car and to keep you in place, definitely super important. It was a game changer for me, and it just lets you think about driving instead of focusing on trying to not fly around. Third, get your diff welded. It's gonna make your rear end feel predictable. It's gonna be fun and easy to use. It's gonna be easy on transitions. You know exactly what's gonna happen when you let off, when you get on throttle, when you clutch kick, all that. I do like LSDs. Is a preference for me. It works great if you have an LC and you want to try that first. It's fine, but if you have an open, great. You can get it welded for 200 bucks and under. Fourth thing, front tires. Front consistent tires, decent grip. You don't need the most grippiest tires in the world. You need something with decent grip, because you want to be able to scrub a little bit of speed with the front, because the front tires are also drifting as well. It may not feel like it, but your front tires are also scrubbing some speed. It's also sliding, and so you need a little bit of slip in the front tires to control your drift, but you don't need it to be too grippy and you don't want it to be not grippy at all. So having good consistent tires will definitely help you feel good in the front of the car. Steering wheel will feel responsive, and you'll know exactly what to do every time, because you've been running the same tires for the past year with good consistent tires that you choose. And the last thing is the drift button that I was showing you guys about. 18 bucks, just get it. You don't need a hydro, you don't need all that. 18 bucks. I've been doing this for a year and my brakes still lock up perfectly fine. I do have to pull it a little bit harder than before, but for a year and a half of me driving, it's perfectly fine and it works great. And so that is the 5 things you should get for your drift car that is under 1.5K. Super easy, super affordable. If you're getting a drift thing, you buy a drift car for 5K, you have 1.5K to spend. Those are the first 5 things you should do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys want to get into drifting, and I hope this helps you get into drifting and get started with drifting. And I hope you guys have a good time out there, and I hope my advice helps you get your IS300 set up to have some good time at the track. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.